case number 8854, Sarah Davis versus Joy Briggs. Ladies, can you please come to the podium?
Well, she owed me for at least, she hasn't paid her rent. She's always late.
She let me keep her stuff there. I told you I was going to be gone. I told you I wasn't expecting to pay rent for 6 weeks, and you're still telling me I have to pay her for utilities.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Porter will preside.
Everyone, please have a seat. Thank you so much. We have case number 8854, Sarah Davis versus Joy Briggs. Ladies, can you please come to the podium? Ms. Davis, ma'am, you're suing Ms. Briggs for the amount of $3,800 for, what is this? Emotional distress. Am I reading that correctly?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, ma'am, can you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been living in this apartment for a couple of months now.
Mm-hmm.
And I just came back from a trip from Europe. I was there for 6 weeks.
6 weeks,
and
okay.
I had told my landlord that I was going to be gone for those 6 weeks, and I didn't expect to have to pay during that time since I was moving all of my stuff out of the apartment. So the apartment was empty. I wasn't in it. None of my belongings were in it. Nobody was staying in it. So it was empty. And I told her about this about a month in advance, and she's still charging me for rent and utilities, even though there was nobody in the apartment and I was gone for 6 weeks.
The case began with clear tension in the room. Sarah Davis filed a lawsuit against her landlord, Joy Briggs, demanding $3,800 for emotional distress. She argued that she shouldn't have been responsible for rent or utility payments during her 6-week trip to Europe. According to Sarah, she had cleared out the apartment and notified the landlord ahead of time. But for her, the issue wasn't just about money. She felt deeply wronged, pointing to gossip, eviction threats, and what she believed was unfair treatment. The judge listened carefully, sensing that there might be more beneath the surface of this story.
Okay. So what's the $3,800 for again?
Emotional distress. Because she's gone around, she's been bad-mouthing me. I've been a perfect tenant. I've paid rent on time, and I've been very quiet, and I don't bother anybody. And for some reason, she wants to still charge me, and then she's bad-mouthing me to everybody. And she gave me a couple of eviction notices, so I don't. So
okay,
yeah, I'm taking her to court.
Okay, I'm definitely missing part of this story. Ms. Briggs, you mind filling in the rest as to what's going on here?
I will try my best. This young lady, I actually gave her a break. My name is Miss Briggs. I'm always trying to bless others, and sometimes that comes back to haunt you. I was really being nice to this young lady because her mom and I attend the same church, and her behavior is just it's so much different than her mother, but it's okay. I agreed on giving her a $300 discount in her rent already. She has a lease. She told me she was going away. Okay, we go on vacation. But if you choose to take all of your belongings when you go on vacation, that's up to you, but you still have a lease. And so I've made no commitment for her not to pay her rent. And of course, I went through the proper procedure, and I'm going to evict her if she doesn't pay.
Okay, maybe I'm just being dumb today, but I'm confused.
4 M's. Briggs responded firmly, saying she had already given Sarah a $300 rent discount as a favor and simply expected her to stick to the lease. She argued that taking a vacation, even overseas, doesn't cancel a legal rental agreement. When Sarah stopped paying, Briggs followed the proper steps to begin the eviction process. As the judge looked over the details, it became clear. Sarah had signed a 1-year lease but disappeared for 6 weeks. That's when the rules of the agreement and reality started to catch up with her.
You signed a lease for, how long was the lease?
A year.
A year lease, and you were gone for 6 weeks, which is a month and a half, right? Correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you signed a lease for an entire year.
But
okay.
I told her that I wasn't going to be there for those 6 weeks.
I got that. I understand that part. But here's what I don't understand. That time that you went away to Europe for 6.5 weeks, I'm not even understanding why you removed your property from your from your place.
So that I didn't have to pay rent. See, if it was an empty apartment, if I wasn't there, if none of my stuff was there, why should I have to pay to keep my stuff there? Because at that point, that's what I'm paying for.
Okay, but here's the problem though. If you take all your stuff out and you're gone for 6 weeks and you have a lease, she can't rent that spot to another person. It's yours. You sign an agreement. It's yours.
I gave all my stuff. I put stuff in my friend Jennifer's place. It's cheaper to keep it there. She doesn't charge me for it.
I understand that, but she can't rent that space because it belongs to you.
But I told her I wasn't going to be there, so
I
she could have
understand
rented
that,
it out to somebody else.
Okay, let me help you with this. Let's say, for whatever reason, she decides to rent that space while you're gone for 6.5 weeks, right? She's gone 6.5 weeks. I'm going to rent the space out while she's gone. The person that's there causes damage to the place. The walls are damaged. Maybe the plumbing's damaged. There's damage in the place to this person who's there for 6 weeks. Now the person's gone. Now you're coming back.
Yeah.
She's responsible, right?
Or Judge Porter leaned forward and broke it down simply. Whether Sarah was living in the apartment or not, the lease was still in effect. She was still responsible for the space. The mood in the courtroom shifted as the judge presented a clear example. If someone else had moved in and caused damage while she was gone, Sarah would still be the one held accountable. That's when it clicked for Sarah. Leaving for a while doesn't cancel her legal obligations. The lease isn't with her mom or anyone else. It's in her name, and that makes her fully responsible.
Well, no, the person who was there is responsible.
No, she's responsible.
But
She's
it
got to
would
be
be the person that
responsible.
was there
She's
for
got
6
to be.
weeks.
You know why she's responsible?
That's my
Because
partner.
you're coming back. The place has to be pristine the same way that you left it. Because if it's not, now she has another problem. And you have a problem. Where am I going to stay? My place is damaged.
I'm going to stay with my friend Jennifer.
But see, Jennifer's not part of the lease agreement.
But I'm telling you, she could have rented out my room, my apartment for 6 weeks. And then if there was any damage, I could have stayed with my friend Jennifer. But I told her about it
If you're
ahead
going
of
to have an
time.
arrangement like that where you're out of the country for whatever reason, then I would suggest that you get a lease that goes month to month. Okay? But you went for an entire year. That place is yours. Whether you move your stuff out or not, you could have even had someone come and house it for you while you were gone.
But the agreement was made between her and my mom. I just kind of signed the papers and I moved in.
Is your mom's name on the paperwork?
No, but she told me, she's like, here, sign this and you can live here.
The paperwork says Sarah Davis.
Yeah, I signed it, but my
You're
mom
Sarah
gave
Davis.
it.
Is your mom Sarah Davis?
No, she's Mrs. Davis, but she handed me the paperwork and she said, this will be fine. You'll live here for a while. And I just signed it. I didn't know.
Ma'am, but you're responsible. You're an adult. You're responsible for everything that comes with that. I'm sorry, but that window of 6 weeks while you're in Europe, you're responsible for that apartment
But I could have been doing something else. I could have been lying about where I was. I submitted photos as proof that I was in Europe during that time.
More tension builds as Sarah stands her ground, saying she gave proper notice and even showed proof she was out of the country, but the judge isn't swayed. You could have been across the street. It wouldn't change a thing, he tells her firmly. Moving her things to her friend Jennifer's place doesn't change the legal facts. The reality hits. Sarah signed the lease. No matter her plans or good intentions, she's still responsible for the rent. The law doesn't make exceptions for travel.
But you know what? And we got those photos. But here's the thing. You could have been across the street and it still wouldn't matter. You could have been in the apartment next door. It still wouldn't matter. You're still responsible under the agreement of the lease that you signed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're $3,800. You're not getting. Ma'am, how much does she owe you?
Well, she owed me for at least, she hasn't paid her rent. She's always late. But
Wait a minute. So since I understand that she didn't pay for the 6 weeks. So you're telling me she hasn't paid for 2 months?
2 months.
At least 2 months.
At least 2 months. And can I add this?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, this young lady, you're taking up my time, number one, but I'm glad to be here in your courtroom. Well, Judge Porter, I feel as though I've given her a lot of breaks. Her mom and I, we attend the same church, and we have such a great relationship. I gave her a $300 a month discount. And I wasn't going to bring it up, but her behavior today, it shows. You know, I've received so many complaints from the neighbors. The police have been called a number of times, and I really wasn't going to say anything. But today, girlfriend, it is here. Clearly, your behavior warrants nothing but paying your rent. And, you know, maybe next time you'll make some better judgments. Going to Europe, spending your rent money, is that a good thing?
I shouldn't have to pay my rent. I was gone for 6 weeks. I told her I was going to be gone for 6 weeks. I moved my stuff out of my friend Jennifer's house. She let me keep her stuff there. I told you I was going to be gone. I told you I wasn't expecting to pay rent for 6 weeks. And you're still telling me I have to pay for utilities. I shouldn't have to pay for utilities. I didn't have any water, any electricity. I shouldn't have to pay.
Ma'am.
Or Briggs adds fuel to the fire, saying Sarah was often late with rent, neighbors had issues, and even the police were called at one point. Sarah snaps, denying everything, but the judge steps in, asking her to stay calm. Tension in the room spikes. It's no longer just about rent. It's about trust and reputation. When Sarah argues she didn't use any water or electricity, the judge cuts in, reminding her that none of that changes the facts. Whether she used the place or not, the lease is still binding. What she signed is what counts.
Ma'am, I'm going to need you to calm down. Bring it down. Okay? Can you do that for me?
It's not fair. It's not fair.
I understand you're discontent with what's going on right now. I get that. But you still have to act in a certain way when you're in court.
I'm sorry, but when she's bad-mouthing me like that, saying the police were called, I've never had the police called on me.
Ma'am, what a coincidence. I've never had the police called on me either. So we have something in common. But look, here's the thing, okay? Like I told you earlier, when you're gone, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, whatever the case may be, it's still within the window of that lease.
But I told her I was going to be gone.
Ma'am, don't interrupt me. Please, let me finish, okay? You're still responsible for the property. You're responsible. She can't rent that out. It's yours.
I wasn't using it, though. I
It doesn't
told her
matter.
I wasn't
It's
using it.
yours. It's yours.
But I told her it wasn't going to be there.
Ma'am,
she should be able to use it
ma'am,
if she wants. It's her building.
If that's your concern or if that's going to be your lifestyle, then you're going to have to rent month to month. But for right now, am I correct? It's 2 months that we're behind now?
Yes, 2 months.
2 months. You're going to have to pay that 2 months. I'm sorry. I'm going to dismiss your case, but I'm requiring you to pay the 2 months rent that you're behind, because if you don't, you're going to have extra fees and it's going to cost
Court
you.
costs.
Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, then. This case is dismissed.
The judge delivers the final decision. Case dismissed. Sarah is ordered to pay 2 months' rent. She's clearly upset, but the ruling stands. Briggs closes with confidence, saying she tried to be kind, but learned that doing the right thing doesn't always lead to a reward. Sarah leaves hinting. She might fight back, but the judge has made it clear. When you sign a lease, it's not about feelings. It's a legal agreement you're expected to keep.